Let's take a look at equivalent fractions. Two fractions that are the same. So first, if you remember, we have talked about one full piece being labeled 1 out of 1. 1 out of 1 equaling the one whole. Now, if we have that one whole cut into two equal pieces, and they're the same whole size, 2 out of 2 is going to be equal to 1 out of 1. These are both one full whole. So this is a review of what we talked about before. We also have 3 out of 3 equaling 1. 4 out of 4 is also an equivalent. 6 out of 6 and 8 out of 8. These are all equivalent wholes. Let's go ahead and remove the one whole and our thirds, and let's just talk about our even denominators. So we have 1 out of 2 right here, and I grayed out the rest. We're not going to look at those right now, so we're just going to look at half. And you can see that 1/2 is equivalent to 2 out of 4, and 3 out of 6, and 4 out of 8. Those are equivalent fractions. They are the exact same amount, just in different sized pieces. We're going to go back to our trusty line to find an equivalent fraction. So we're going to look for the equivalent to 1/2. So first of all, let's find 1/2 on the line. Okay, so there it is. Now to find an equivalent on the line, we're going to divide each piece in half. That gives us 2 out of 4. Now I could do this continually on and on. Again, I can just cut each piece in half. And now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm at 4 pieces with a denominator of 8. So 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4, which is also equivalent to 4/8. All of those are the same 1/2. They all equal half of the line. Let's try another one. Now we have 3/4. So again, we're going to divide the line into 4 equal pieces. Remember, start in the middle. Then we divide each piece in the middle again. Now we find the third piece. 1, 2, 3, right here. 3/4. Now we're going to find the equivalent to 3/4. And we do that by cutting each piece in the middle again. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The dot is on the 6, and there are 7, 8 pieces. So the equivalent fraction to 3/4 is 6/8. Let's try another one. 1 out of 3. Now remember, this one was a little bit trickier when we divide the line. We can't just cut it in half. This is an odd number on our denominator. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the middle, and now we're going to branch out from there until we see what looks to be about 3 equal pieces. All right, now we have 3 equal pieces, and we're going to put the dot on that first piece, 1/3. Now to find the equivalent fraction, we're going to cut each one of those pieces in half. Now we have 1, 2, the dot is at 2, so that'll be our numerator, and our denominator is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 2/6. That is equivalent to 1/3. Now it is your turn. Let's divide the line, first of all, into quarters because it shows 1/4. So go ahead and think about that. After you divide the line into fourths, you need to find its equivalent. Then do the same for 1/2 and 2/3. I'll give you some time to do that now. Okay, if you haven't finished, push pause and finish, and then push play when you're ready. We're going to move on. 1/4, we're going to divide that line. Remember, we start in the middle because the denominator is even. Then we take each one of those pieces and cut them in half. Then we place the dot on 1/4. Now we're going to find its equivalent by cutting each piece one more time right down the middle. We're going to count each piece, and then we get our numerator where the dot is and our denominator on how many total pieces in the whole. 2/8. The next one, 1/2. Again, it's an even denominator, so we can cut the line in the middle. Now we're going to find the equivalent fraction by cutting each piece in half. And we get 2/4. Of course, you could have had multiple answers. You could have cut it again, and you could have gotten 4/8. Let's look at the bottom one, 2/3. This one we cannot cut in the middle. The line is not able to do that. So we're going to find the middle, then branch off to the left and the right. Then we're going to put our numerator, says 2 pieces, so our dot goes there. Now we're going to cut each piece in half, and our equivalent fraction of 2/3 is 4/6. Now we're going to take a look at equivalent fractions using a circle. Using a circle is a little bit more difficult. I prefer using the line. It's easier. I like easy. But I'm going to show you this anyway. So I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to divide it in half. Next, I'm going to find the equivalent of 1/2 by cutting each piece in half. So now I have 4 pieces, and you can see 2 of them are colored. So we have 2/4. 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. All right, now let's go ahead and divide each piece again right in the middle. And now, what do we have? We still have half, and that half has now turned into an equivalent fraction of 4/8. Let's try another one. This time it is thirds. Thirds are tricky. Okay, I can't just cut my circle all the way down the middle. I'm going to go to the middle of the circle, and that's where I'm going to stop. Okay, now from here, I have to branch out. Okay, now these look pretty equal. Kind of looks like a peace sign. So when you draw it, like I said, this is hard. I try not to do these, but some people like the challenge. Make sure that they look similar. I'm going to color in 1/3. Now, to find the equivalent fraction, I'm going to cut each one of those pieces in half. And now you can see that 1/3 is equivalent to 2/6. We have 2 pieces colored for our numerator and 6 pieces all together. 6 pieces make up the whole. Let's give you a try. We've got our circles. You're going to find the equivalent fraction to 1/3, 3/4, and 3/8. Good luck. I'll give you some time now. If you haven't finished, push pause and then start when you're ready. All right, 1 out of 3. This is our really tricky one. Remember, you cannot divide the circle straight all the way down in half. We have to go to the middle of the circle. Then we're going to branch off, kind of like a peace sign. And then we're going to color in, that's our denominator, 3 parts. We're going to color one of those parts. Now we have to find the equivalent fraction by dividing each piece in half. And our answer was 2/6. The next one is 3/4. This one has an even denominator, so we can cut them in half. 3 is our numerator. We color 3 pieces. Now to find the equivalent fraction, we're going to take each piece and divide it in half. Count them all up and we get 6/8. For the last one, again, denominator is even, we can start cutting it in half. All right, we have 8 pieces. Now we need to color 3 of those pieces for our numerator. And now to find the equivalent fraction, we're going to divide each piece in half one more time. Now we're going to count them all up, and we get 6/16. When we're talking about equivalent fractions, it's important to remember that word right there, equivalent. Equivalent means equal or the same. That's very important because your whole has to be the same when you're looking at another whole. Let me give you an example. Let's say you had 4 people and you had 2 candy bars that you wanted to share with those 4 people. Now, it seems really easy on the surface because you could just take those 2 candy bars and cut them in half, and then you would have 4 pieces. Each person gets a half of the candy bar. But what if one of the candy bars looked like this and another of the candy bar looked like this? Well, I can tell you which half I would want. Not that one. I would definitely want half of this candy bar. So it's important to make sure that the whole bar is equal to the whole bar when you start comparing the fractions to make your equivalencies. I'm going to go enjoy me some candy. What do you think about that?